Episode 4, the one where it all began. And people have probably seen videos like how Star Wars was saved in the edit. Back in the 70s, George Lucas had a lot more collaboration on these films, and because of that, Lucas's weaknesses as a filmmaker, they were able to be covered by other people around him. And it's thanks to people like Marisha Lee Lucas, his then wife, who edited the hell out of this movie to make it something presentable and really awesome. There's not really much I can say about the original trilogy. These movies are all pretty good. The prequels are like a beautiful mess where you can just deconstruct them and learn about how not to make a movie. But with the original trilogy, it's like they're pretty solid. There are flaws, like Mark Hamill's acting as Luke Skywalker is kind of whiny. Oh, I want to go to Toshi Station to buy power converters or whatever. But you know what? It may not be the best acting in the world, but Luke Skywalker is much more tolerable than Anakin Skywalker in the prequels. I mean, Luke never killed younglings or anything, so he feels much more human. The killing the younglings thing doesn't happen until Episode 8. It's easier to connect with the characters. You see Luke's plight, how he wants to leave Tatooine, and then he gets the hero's calling where Obi-Wan tells him, come to Alderaan with me, and he's like, no, I have to do chores or whatever. But then Uncle Owen and Aunt Beru are killed and everything, and so he's forced to go on this amazing journey to deliver R2 to the princess and everything. A New Hope is just much better paced thanks to Marsha Lee Lucas's editing, and doesn't waste your time with boring political dialogue like how the prequels does. We're introduced to characters like Luke, Leia, Han Solo, Chewie, Obi-Wan, and they're all really enjoyable, especially Han Solo and how roguish he is. And I'm watching the 2004 DVD versions of the movie, so we have some annoying special edition changes like Jabba, CGI Jabba, kind of slowing down the pace. Han shooting second. I'm not watching the Disney Plus version where Greedo goes McClunky. That's just, it's weird that George Lucas obsesses over making all these little changes. That's my only complaint about New Hope, is that we have not gotten the original versions of the Star Wars movies released. I have them on a VHS over here. Original pre-special edition versions of the movies right here. But it feels like it's kind of like George Lucas is one of those artists who just looks back on his earlier work and is like, oh, I wish I could do better, and kind of goes a bit crazy with it. I mean, I'm okay with fixing a couple little mistakes, a few special effects that didn't work in the 70s. I'm not opposed to there being a special edition. I just wish that George Lucas would have the special edition and the original versions available for people to see and make the compare and contrast. But for some reason, George Lucas is just really obsessed with releasing new special editions with more changes when it's not really necessary. Like, was anyone really bothered whether Han shoots first or second or whatever? Was anyone really bothered that there aren't enough rocks in front of R2 in this one scene when he's trying to hide from the Sand People? It's just, George Lucas is just fixing stuff that didn't need to be fixed in the first place. Oh well, but anyway, A New Hope is a pretty solid movie. I don't have much to say because it's just that enjoyable. It's not as fun to just gush on a movie, how much you love it, than to like just crap on a movie and say this is everything that went wrong. Like, it's a really, really enjoyable movie. I had a lot of fun watching it. It sets the groundwork for everything that comes, everything else that happens in Star Wars. It's lots of fun. Yay. Next up, Star Wars Episode 5, The Empire Strikes Back. A lot of people say this is the best Star Wars movie ever, and yeah, I have to agree. I'm not going to go against the consensus here. This is pretty much the best Star Wars movie ever. Yeah, and I think the reason why is because this is the movie that focuses the most on the characters and who they are and their relationships with everyone else. The movie opens with the Empire trying to chase the rebels and everything, but then after they leave Hoth, the rebellion just kind of disappears from the movie, and it's all about Darth Vader trying to chase Han and Leia, and and it's all his goal to try and turn Luke to the dark side. And so it's a very character-driven story, developing the characters much more than they were in A New Hope. Now, George Lucas, he found directing A New Hope too stressful, so he gave directing duties to Irvin Kershner. And there's been controversy recently with Rian Johnson trying to defend The Last Jedi, saying, oh, Empire Strikes Back wasn't well received when it was first released. And people have been questioning whether Rian Johnson is telling the truth. and everything. But I found this interview from Irvin Kershner from 2010, a month before he died, basically saying what Rian Johnson said, that Empire Strikes Back got good reviews, but did receive the most mixed reception out of the original trilogy. So maybe Rian Johnson wasn't totally pulling this out of his ass. And the website Making Star Wars also has behind-the-scenes stuff about how Lucas and Kershner had some creative differences. Like, George Lucas wanted this to be more of a fast-paced action movie, while Kershner wanted to focus way more on story and character development. And George Lucas has purportedly said that Empire Strikes Back is his least favorite Star Wars movie. Yes. So if you thought Rian Johnson saying that he didn't like Empire at first was shocking, like, this should be even more shocking. People just forgotten that George Lucas totally said this, or alleged to have said it. I don't know if he really did. We go to Dagobah and we see Luke being trained by Yoda, and how he's really not ready to be a Jedi. You know, we see how impatient he is, his impulsiveness, how he doesn't really believe in the Force, and it just sets up a character arc showing Luke going from not really understanding the Force that well to becoming Jedi Knight in the next movie, where he's much more practiced and everything and in control. It's just a really great character arc to have, and then with Luke, not Luke, Han and Leia and the Millennium Falcon, we have Han, the rogue, and Leia, the rebel hero, and just seeing the two of them clash with each other, and eventually, in a weird opposites attract kind of way, they fall in love with each other. Yeah, although we do get that one creepy scene of Leia kissing Luke earlier in the movie, like, I like that one meme. Ignorance, sometimes it's better not to know. But anyway, this movie focuses way more on the characters, developing them much better, and that's, I think, is what makes Empire a much stronger movie, than a much stronger movie than A New Hope and really the other Star Wars movies overall. And we get the confrontation between Luke and Vader on Cloud City. We also meet Lando, and he kind of represents what Han was before he joined the rebellion. And I do find it kind of weird that Lando betrays Han and Leia and Chewie to Darth Vader, but then in the next movie Han is just, oh yeah, we're friends again. That is a bit of a writing hiccup, but oh well. And of course we get the appearance of Boba Fett, although he did appear earlier in the special edition of A New Hope, but really for most people this was his first appearance, if you're watching the original versions of these movies. And he doesn't say much, but he is cool to see around. It's too bad he gets a really disappointing death scene in the next movie. But anyway, we get the battle between Luke and Vader. It's all really awesome, and of course we get the plot twist of the century. Luke, I am your father, or no, I am your father. I know people will comment saying, oh, you didn't quote the line correctly, but whatever. We all know what it means. Although, when you watch the prequels, you already know that Darth Vader is Luke's father, so I guess that kind of recontextualizes the scene. Instead of being a big surprise, instead, I guess it's kind of a dramatic build-up where, how long will it be until Luke finds out the truth about his father and everything. So Luke gets his arm chopped off. He's saved by Leia, and it kind of nicely foreshadows Luke and Leia being brother and sister, even though that apparently was not Lucas's original plan. Yeah, there's a lot of arguments over how much Lucas really planned out the original trilogy. Like, I think the original script for Empire, Lee Beckett, who unfortunately died before the movie was made, his original version of Empire had Anakin Skywalker's Force Ghost appearing to Luke on Hoth rather than Obi-Wan. So originally Darth Vader was not Anakin Skywalker, and apparently George Lucas didn't originally plan Leia being Luke's sister, but the one scene where they're telepathically communicating with each other, in hindsight, it does kind of work as a twist. It's kind of one of those happy accidents, I guess. Empire, best Star Wars movie ever. Let's go to the next one, Return of the Jedi. Okay, a lot of people consider Return of the Jedi the worst movie out of the original trilogy, and my response is, fuck the haters. I still love this movie, but admittedly it does have some bumps in it, and the flaws of Return of the Jedi were basically magnified when George Lucas started doing the prequels, and where he had way more control and less people to challenge him. That kind of started here on Return of the Jedi, where Irvin Kershner dropped out, And I think George Lucas originally wanted to have Steven Spielberg direct this movie, but instead he got someone named Richard Marquand, and Marquand was basically a puppet director for Lucas. So the first 40 minutes are devoted to trying to save Han from Jabba the Hutt. And the plot to save Han really does not make sense when you look at it. You know, everyone gets captured, and but at the same time, you know, the action scene of Luke on the sail barge, you know, catching his lightsaber, it's really awesome, but just don't think too hard about it because it doesn't really make much sense. Harrison Ford thought that Han Solo should die in this movie because he felt that Han Solo's character arc was pretty much complete, you know, going from rogue to hero across the first two movies. But George Lucas didn't think dead Han toys would sell. So in this movie, Han feels a bit dialed back from how he was in the previous movies. So that's kind of a disappointment. And Han's not the only character who's, like, kind of toned down. I feel like Darth Vader is toned down in this movie, too. Like, in Empire Strikes Back, you know, he was choking people left and right whenever they failed him. But in this movie, not so much. But that's because, you know, we introduced the Emperor, you know, if you're watching these movies in order of release rather than chronological. We have Emperor Palpatine appear, and I guess George Lucas didn't want Vader's evil to exceed the Emperor, who is supposed to be much worse in every way. And Ian McDiarmid is great as Palpatine, you know, both in the prequel trilogy and as Palpatine in this one scene. You know, he wasn't originally Palpatine in Empire Strikes Back. They had some different actor playing him, but thanks to special edition edits, George Lucas inserted Ian McDiarmid into Episode 5. That's one of the few edits to the special editions that I don't really mind. So after Han is rescued, we then go to the Battle of Endor. You know, we have to destroy the Death Star again. Gee, where have I heard that complaint before? But anyway, it's, you know, we get sequences like the speeder bike chase. That's really fun, and you know, they're in the California redwoods. That's a very nice setting. But then we are introduced to the Ewoks. Now, apparently in earlier drafts of Return of the Jedi, originally George Lucas wanted to go to Coruscant, where there would be 2 Death Stars in orbit being constructed, and Palpatine's lair would be this underground cave. But then he decided instead to go to this Wookiee planet, but then when Wookiees were too expensive and, you know, not as marketable, he turned them into Ewoks instead. And you know, for some people might find the Ewoks really cute. Other people find them annoying and implausible that the Ewoks could help destroy the Empire, although George Lucas tries to defend it by saying, well, I was inspired by how the Viet Cong beat America in the Vietnam War, but whatever. While the ground battle to destroy the shield generator on Endor may not be to everyone's liking because of Ewoks, the battle in outer space, where Lando's in the Millennium Falcon and, you know, he's fighting all the Star Destroyers and everything, that's actually pretty solid and really cool. If you go into, like, behind-the-scenes stuff, talking about how they had to, like, put all the ships into every scene, like, it's pretty crazy. I think I was told in, like, art school, like, one scene had to have, like, 300 different layers with, you know, all the TIE fighters and everything. It's just really amazing to watch. It's really cool. And this was done in 1983, before there were CGI effects. So one of the best space battles in all of Star Wars. And done without computers. That's pretty awesome. And we also have the confrontation between Luke and Vader and Palpatine on board the second Death Star. And kind of like... And even people that don't like Return of the Jedi, they will say that this is, like, the best part of the movie. It goes back to Empire Strikes Back, where, you know, we don't have the stakes of, oh, they're going to blow up another planet. It's very personal stakes. I mean, we do have the rebellion in danger of being destroyed, but with Luke, Palpatine, and Vader, it's this interesting dynamic. Seeing Vader, you know, torn between his son and Palpatine, you know, the relationships between everyone. You know, Luke wants to try and redeem Vader and not, you know, get drawn to the dark side. Vader wants to turn Luke so he can overthrow Palpatine, and Palpatine is basically just sitting back and relaxing. He doesn't care how this battle goes. If Vader kills Luke, then he's gotten rid of a potential enemy. But if Luke kills Vader, then he's got a new apprentice who isn't constantly on life support. So it's just really fun to watch, seeing the conflict between Luke and Vader and everything. And then we get the scene of Vader reading Luke's mind, figuring out, oh, you have a sister and everything. And that makes Luke go crazy. He almost turns to the dark side, trying to kill Vader. And then we get the scene of Palpatine shooting lightning at Luke, and kind of funny on the website, The Making of Star Wars. The webmaster got like some contemporary reviews of fan reactions to Return of the Jedi, and the same way how people saw The Last Jedi and were like, oh, Force projection, where did that come from? There were similar reactions back then of people saying, oh, Palpatine shooting Force lightning, we've never seen that before. And we never got any backstory on who Palpatine is. It's kind of interesting. But anyway, the ending, Vader is redeemed and everything. The Death Star gets blown up again. And I will have to say, even though I don't like most of the changes done in the special edition, the extended ending to Return of the Jedi, where you see the entire galaxy celebrating the end of the Empire, I actually like that, showing that, this had larger consequences for the whole galaxy and everything. Although I don't like the change where Anakin's original actor, Sebastian Shaw, gets replaced with Hayden Christensen. Like, apparently this was shot while Hayden Christensen was doing like costume tests or something, and he had no idea that George Lucas was going to put him into Episode 6. That's like the only downside to the ending. But other than that, Return of the Jedi, it's flawed, but it's still really fun. And it's a great ending to the original trilogy. Unfortunately, Disney could not let well enough be.